My name is Sheila Pazorski, and I'm a professor of anthropology in the Sociology and Anthropology department. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the two internships that we have related to anthropology in our department. We have museum studies and archive studies. In museum studies, students go and work at a variety of museum or nature center venues, and in archive studies they work in more specific archive type situations where like the collections area of the McAllen Museum or the archive section of the museum in Edinburgh. The advantage of this is multiple, because students get a hands-on experience in a museum situation. It's a good way to build a habit of community service within our students. Also, if you haven't had a job before, it's a good way to have a scheduled type of environment where you're responsible for going at a certain time each week. And many people say that it's helped them become responsible and learn what it's like to have a real job. Also, the museum internships can lead to actual jobs. Several of our interns have been hired by the museums either on a temporary or a permanent basis. And the other thing is, museum professionals tend to really like what they do, and so many of our students say that it's really wonderful to see what it's like to work in a situation where everybody loves coming to work every day and likes their job. The opportunities are almost endless. We have students as far away as overseas. Some of them do internships in the summer at museums in international settings. We have students in Brownsville and Falcon and everywhere in between down here in the valley. And we're always looking for new places to place interns. They may be working in a nature center if they're interested in biology, or in a historical museum if they're interested in history. There's no particular qualification for this. You just need to be interested. You need to contact me in order to do this, because I need to have a conversation with you. We need to work out where you're going to work, and I need to be sure and give you contact information for your supervisor. So you can't just register for the class. You need to contact me and I'll clear you to register. But other than that, the internship is open to anyone who's interested in working in a museum or archive situation. There are no deadlines for this class. It's offered every single semester, and all you need to do is get in touch with me around the time that people start registering for their classes for the next semester. The other thing about it is that you can start early, oftentimes with your internship, so that if you sign up for the spring, you might be able to work a little bit over the Christmas holidays, because the museums need people, and that way you can kind of get a head start on the semester.
Good morning. My name is Stanley Gonzalez, and I teach criminal justice in the Criminal Justice Department, Social and Behavioral Sciences College. I'm also the internship coordinator for the Criminal Justice Department. The way that we have our internships for our students, it has to be a criminal justice related agency, and of course the big broad spectrum for that would be any police or law enforcement related agency, any types of court related agency, and then finally corrections. We also have internships at these levels, the local level, for example, like the Juvenile Court Conference Committee out of juvenile probation. At the state level, this would be, for example, DPS, Department of Public Safety. And then at the federal level, for example, United States Marshals Services. If a student finds an agency or facility that is not on the approved list, we only allow students to be placed on agencies that are approved by Career Services Office here on campus. If they find an agency that's not on the list, it's very simple to get that agency approved. There's a couple of forms that need to be submitted. Some interesting internships. Students have gone to some law offices to complete their internship. Texas Parks and Wildlife, and even pretrial services at the federal level. The application is fairly simple. The student will fill out a 3-page form that the Criminal Justice Department has. But perhaps the biggest item in the application process is for the student to locate an agency that will accept them for the semester that they want to complete the internship. And if students are just new to the criminal justice major and they're not sure which area they want to go into, I can provide some advisement for them and counseling to give them ideas of which internship agencies would pretty much fit or suit the career that they're looking for. But what I've seen from my experience is that most students are interested in very specific agencies, and once they inquire with that agency to verify if they're taking students, then they need to go ahead and start the application process with that individual agency. Some agencies require students to be fingerprinted, and as a general rule of thumb, background checks are required for local agencies. Those usually take 2 to 4 weeks. For state agencies, they take 4 to 6 weeks, and then for federal internship agencies, sometimes it's up to 90 days. Another rule of thumb is for the students to apply for their internship in the semester preceding that they want to complete that internship. Now, most agencies do not have GPA requirements, but some do. And essentially, each agency has their own individualistic requirements. So it's kind of on a case-by-case basis related to the fact as to whether they need to have a GPA or other requirements. When a student is placed in an internship setting at an agency, they can learn valuable office skills, communication skills, and of course, following up with that, they can develop networking contacts and connections that they can utilize for future job seeking. Students will get to find out in most cases how an office is run, the do's and the don'ts, and they come back pretty surprised about how things happen in office settings as it relates to some of the agencies. In general, the CJ department requires that the student will complete 120 hours for their internship. However, they will only receive a C, a grade of C. If they complete 15 more hours, they can get a B in the course, and another 15 hours they'll end up with an A in the course. Students also have to develop a schedule of when they're going to be going to the agency, and all of that is taken care of during the application process with the coordinator. And last but not least, we do ask the agency to evaluate the student upon the completion of their internship so that we can have a record of how the student did while they were completing their internship. By and large, most students really enjoy their internship placements, and we recommend to them that they seek a second internship, even though it would be a non-academic one. This will give them another opportunity to gain some practical experience.
Hello, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Alfred R. Silva, and I am the Professor of Military Science here at the University of Texas Pan American. What I want to talk to you about today is our Health Professional Scholarship Program. If you are a clinical psychology student, you could receive a full tuition scholarship for 1 or 2 academic years. During academic breaks, you'll receive and be eligible and work along other members of the United States Army Health Care Team. Plus, as your career progresses, you'll have the opportunity to continue your education and gain experience through our unique training programs. The U.S. Army Medical Department can help take away the worry of how you'll pay for school. The F. Edward Hebert Armed Forces Health Professions Scholarship Program is available to qualifying students who wish to earn professional degrees and accredited medical, dental, optometry, veterinary, psychiatric nurse practitioner, clinical or counseling psychology programs. We will pay 100% of your tuition, plus we will also pay for required books, equipment, and most academic fees. Qualifying medical and dental students are also eligible to receive a $20,000 sign-on bonus. As you attend school, you'll receive a monthly stipend of more than $2,000. During breaks, you'll receive officer's pay while you train as part of our healthcare team. After graduation, you will enter active duty in your specialty and advance to the rank of captain. With every promotion, your salary will increase. Your time in service and cost of living adjustments also lead to pay increases. Additionally, you'll receive a monthly non-taxable allowance for food and housing. The Health Professional Scholarship Program is available for students pursuing advanced degrees in medicine, dentistry, veterinary science, psychiatric nursing, optometry, or psychology. You must be a U.S. citizen with a bachelor's degree from an accredited school, be enrolled in or have a letter of acceptance from an accredited graduate program in the U.S. or Puerto Rico. You will maintain a full-time student status during the length of the program, and you must qualify as a commissioned officer in the United States Army Reserve. Your active duty service obligation for the U.S. Army is 1 year of service for every year you receive the scholarship. Your minimum obligation depends on your healthcare field. For example, the minimum obligation for medical students is 2 years. Dental, psychology, optometry, and veterinary students are obligated to serve no fewer than 3 years. There is an additional obligation for any residency or fellowship training. You'll have the opportunity to work with a rewarding patient base, soldiers and their families, in a variety of settings and conduct vital, life-saving research alongside committed and focused colleagues. The requirements for a clinical psychologist are: to become one on active duty, you must have a doctoral degree in clinical psychology, counseling psychology, or subspecialty. Must have current unrestricted license for practice and be in the age between 21 and 42, and also a U.S. citizenship. For the reserves, you must have a doctorate in clinical psychology or counseling psychology from an accredited program acceptable to the Surgeon General. Completion of a 1-year American Psychological Association approved clinical psychology internship. Current license to practice psychology, and be between 21 and 42 years of age with a permanent U.S. residency. In the U.S. Army, the case diversity psychologists' experience in caring for soldiers and their families far exceeds the medical care environment of the private sector. As an Army Medical Service Corps officer, you'll have access to the most sophisticated technologies, methods, and techniques, the opportunity to consult with experts in both the military and private sector, plus exceptional professional growth opportunities, including continuing education courses, seminars, and conferences. For future civilian careers, as you advance through your medical career, you will be looking for experiences that blend teaching, research, and clinical excellence to best prepare you for unique and challenging opportunities in medicine. Our psychologists excel in clinical research, operational, academic, and health administrative areas. Many have worked in more than one career track throughout their time in the U.S. Army and have held leadership positions ahead of their private sector counterparts. U.S. Army psychologists are highly desired candidates for competitive private sector jobs upon leaving the Army. In fact, Many former U.S. Army psychologists serve as faculty in elite medical schools, residency programs, and training institutions. Thank you for your time.
My name is Samuel Freeman. I'm a political science professor. I teach a number of courses including U.S. foreign policy, U.S. intelligence agencies, the presidency, political parties, American political theory. I'm also the academic advisor for all political science majors, and as such I oversee our internship program. With respect to our internships, our students do a lot of different things. We will have students who want to go to law school and they will get internships in attorneys' offices or in some of the courts, and those usually are extremely rewarding experiences for them, especially internships in the courts. We also have students who get internships in various government agencies, and for our students who are looking at graduate work in political science or public administration, looking at some kind of public service employment, these can be very good and very rewarding internships. We had a student a few years ago who did an internship at the FBI, and it was quite an eye-opening experience for him. Had a student that did an internship with Border Patrol. But we also have students who will do internships in government relation offices sometimes. We don't have many of those down here, and so that doesn't happen very often. Our internships do have to be involved in politics and government in some way. One of the things that we really encourage of our students is them taking the initiative. Some departments, the faculty will set an internship up for students. We don't do that in political science. Certainly we provide help, and it's not unusual if a student wants an internship in a court for me to pick up the phone and call a judge and recommend the student for an internship, or call an attorney, and certainly I've done those things, a county judge. But we want our students to take the initiative, and so we want them to find their own internship. And I'll talk with them about it, and other faculty in the department will too, about what would be a good internship for them, what kind of experience would help them, not just in terms of complementing their academic career, but more importantly, looking toward their career once they've completed their formal education. Once the students do the internship and they've completed it, we require a paper of them in which they talk about their internship experience, and they relate it to their academic experience and how their study of political science helped them in their internship, and how their internship gave them a better understanding of the courses that they are taking in their political science classes. So that's basically what we do with respect to internships. Now we are also, a lot of our students are involved in the Archer program, which is run by the honors office, but we do have a lot of political science majors who apply for Archer and who get accepted into Archer. And this is a semester study in Washington, D.C. They take 3 courses, 2 of them are political science, 1 is communications, and then they do a 6-hour internship in Washington, D.C. in various agencies. And we've had students get internships in the Treasury Department, in the White House. We had a White House intern, which was really very interesting, State Department, in non-government organizations. That could be in any one of a number of organizations such as the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or LULAC, or the Red Cross. We've had a number of students that get internships in various kinds of public service agencies where the work they do is closely related to, of course, government and politics. Another program that we have in the political science department that's not an internship program, but it's an excellent program for our students who want to go to law school, is the LSPI, Legal Studies Preparation Institute. We take 20 students a year, second summer session. It's competitive. We usually have somewhere between 60 and 80 applicants. The students who go through that program have a much higher probability of being accepted into law school and being accepted into a higher level law school. So this is a program that we are very proud of within the political science department, and it's really helped a number of our students in terms of preparing them for law school and then getting them into law school and through law school. The last thing we have in the political science department that is probably, hopefully of interest with respect to HESTEC is our Survey Research Center. Dr. Wrinkle is the director of that, and especially for our students who want to go on to graduate school and perhaps earn a PhD in political science, working in the Survey Research Center is excellent experience in all aspects of survey research in terms of sample design, drawing the survey sample, developing the survey instrument, conducting the surveys, and then analyzing the data once we have completed the survey. So these are the kinds of things that we do in political science that are very career oriented, in addition, of course, to the academic program we have. And our academic program is a very strong program. Over the last 30 plus years, every student we've had who has gone into a PhD program in political science either has earned their doctorate or currently is working on their doctorate. That may not sound particularly impressive until one realizes that the completion rate in PhD programs in political science throughout the nation is less than 40%. So we must be doing something right in our program in terms of preparing our students for graduate school, or we wouldn't have a 100% completion rate when the national average is less than 40%.
Hello, my name is Nick Weimer, and I am the lecturer in the Global Security Studies and Leadership program at UTPA. This is a program that offers both an undergraduate minor degree as well as a Master's of Interdisciplinary Studies in Global Security Studies and Leadership. Our students focus on research and analysis related jobs for the federal government, primarily jobs that relate to intelligence and national security. Therefore, most of our students work in intelligence community offices or somewhere in the federal government. The 5 agencies I can think of that our students most often work in are, first of all, the U.S. Marshal's Office is very popular. Secondly, the FBI in McAllen hires quite a few internships for our students. Third is State Department. They have a new program actually called the Pathways program that has replaced the previous STEP and SCEP programs. And the Pathways is an exciting new paid internship opportunity for students. Fourth is the NSA Intelligence Analysis Summer Program. This is a very intensive study of cryptology that lasts for 12 to 13 weeks over the summer, available to all students, a non-paid internship, but they do offer housing for students in the Washington, D.C. area. And the fifth I can think of is an NGA program that has just become available for students called the Stokes program, as well as the Temporary Hire program. Both of these are paid, and they try to help us students work from an internship into a career in these agencies. All students typically need to apply on usajobs.com. There is a recent grads and students tab under this website, and you can find most all internship opportunities there. However, I'll mention that they require and request a certain type of formatting, and that is something we're here to help students with. So typically students will need to submit a resume, a letter of intent, as well as their transcripts. But again, writing samples are sometimes needed as well as other information, and so knowing exactly what and how to submit is very important, and we suggest you work with your professors on those applications. Most all opportunities for summer internships in the federal government have deadlines of about October or November. November's about as late as they typically have for summer internships for 2013. Right now, the U.S. Marshal's Office and NSA have November deadlines, whereas the NGA Stokes program that I mentioned before, that has a deadline of October 4th, so that is due very soon. Again, we are here to inform you of those deadlines and happy to help with that. Most importantly, students gain experience from these internships, and one of the biggest problems our students have in trying to get jobs is the experience portion of their resumes. This helps you not only get to know people within the agencies and help you network, but it also helps give you that very valuable clearance as well in many agencies. Clearances are typically very hard to get. The government spends a lot of money on getting clearance for students. So therefore, having a clearance from an internship is going to make you far more valuable when it comes time to apply for these jobs. Finally, many of these become a job within themselves. The NGA program and the FBI programs have often led straight from internship into a job within those offices. And so keep that in mind. Good luck to all of you in the applications, and again, we're here to help.
Hello, my name is Gary Lika. I'm with the Psychology Department, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the internships that might be available through our program. Typically what students should do if they're interested in doing an internship would be start to develop relationships with your faculty members and talk to them after class, get an idea of what their interests are and what kind of research they do, and approach them about your interest in serving an internship. One option, once you've identified maybe some faculty members who would be willing to supervise you for this, one option is to go to Career Services, and that is a service on campus for students. They have a lot of information for students. They have a lot of connections in the community, and they can help securing sites for you. Now, what I've also found helpful in the past is that many students will kind of do an exploration in the community themselves and actually identify sites that are willing to take them on as interns. And you work out some kind of agreement. Maybe there'll be a contract signed among them, maybe not. And then you can come and speak to a faculty member and find a faculty member who may be willing to supervise you for the academic portion of that. Okay. So as far as application process, there's really no formal process for this. However, you need to plan in advance. Most students who do internships, they do it, towards the end of their junior year or the beginning of their senior year. And you do need to think in advance and have some foresight. For example, if you're wanting to start one in the fall, it's usually best that during the summer you start researching and exploring for sites, and also start to whittle down the potential faculty members who are willing to supervise you. For one, they will have to create a specific course for you for that internship for you in order to get credit for that. So always plan at least maybe at least a semester in advance if you're thinking of doing this. Well, it depends on where you're serving your internship. Some of the sites that students have served in the past have been the local community mental health center, which is Tropical Texas Center Behavioral Center. We've had students do internships at local hospice programs. We've had students do internships at the local Mujeres Unidas. We've had students do programs with different correctional facilities, rehab halfway houses. pretty much anywhere you can think of that you could get some experience, and the experience be directly related or applicable to your education in psychology, would probably work. Again, think about the facility you're interested in, research it when you go in to them, so you're not just walking in cold and what do you do here? Okay, so have an idea of what you're doing, what they do, and how you might like to serve there, and then narrow down the faculties who might be willing to supervise you for that. Now, why would you want to do an internship? Well, one, it gives you some practical hands-on kinds of experience. It allows you also to try to apply the knowledge you've acquired in your undergraduate career to an actual field setting. It looks good on an application, particularly if you're wanting to go and get into graduate school. And in some experiences that my students have had, sometimes internships while you're a student actually lead to job hires later on in life. So you're networking, you're building connections, and you get to demonstrate your knowledge about that. And the last thing I could offer would be, approach your faculty. Don't be hesitant or shy to go talk to them. Ask questions. Look at what kinds of opportunities are available and be proactive in it. Okay. Good luck.
I'm Dr. Rajput, and I teach in the Sociology department, and I'm associate professor here at UD Pan Am. First of all, if a student wishes to apply for internship, they need to go to UTPA website and go to Career Services and get on to Bronc Career Connection. So they click on Bronc Career Connection and then click on Students, and then they upload their resume. Now this process is basically to let the university know that you are interested in internships, and once you are registered over there in the university, then you come to the department and the student needs to have a sponsor, and sponsor means a faculty member with whom the person is going to work with, and it depends upon what's the area within sociology that a person is interested in. We have had students who are interested to go for legal career, and so we associate them to certain law firms here in this area in the Valley. And actually last semester there was this student, she was interested, she had worked in a law firm for some time, and she wanted to go to law school, so we actually arranged an internship for her during the fall semester. And she was very satisfied, and it was about immigration law, and that's what she wanted to do later on in her career. And then this semester, we had a student who was interested in sports. And in sociology, we do have sports and society as an area. So he wants to become a coach, a conditioning coach. So he was associated with the men's baseball team during the summer, and he said that he was more than satisfied with his experience. And basically, this internships are available in so many different areas in sociology. If somebody wants to work with children, there's a child protective agency right here in Edinburgh and McAllen, and we can help the student out. If somebody wants to work with older people, we have opportunities over here as well where we can hook the person up for research in gerontology. Then we also have opportunities for internships in Planned Parenthood as juvenile caseworker, also in hospitals, because in hospitals what the sociologists do is they work with the data that the hospitals provide in terms of deaths and births that occur in hospitals all the time. So they use their skills to figure out how how sociologists and statisticians get information on longevity, life expectancy, and health, and so on and so forth. And then, we also have internships with the school districts. And if somebody is interested to become a counselor or a career counselor, we can send the person to high school and work with a counselor right there. If somebody wants to go to graduate school, we have a very good program here in College Station during the summer. That's like a 6-week program, and that actually prepares students to go to graduate school in sociology. They help them to prepare for GRE exams, and also to improve their research skills. And actually, from UT Pan-Am, we have sent about, let's say, about 10 to 15 students in that program, and they ended up doing PhDs from College Station and other schools, PhD in sociology. So that's a very good program. It's called REU, Research Experience for Undergraduates. The requirements to become an intern, you have to be a junior or senior, and in terms of grade point average, in some places they require 3.0, but in some places 2.5 is okay. So if you have 2.5, don't feel that you are behind than any other student, and so you're just going to go ahead and apply. And so once you get internship, what we require, if I'm sponsor, I would say, okay, you go there, and for the first of all, you spend about, let's say, 70 hours, 75 hours, or 80 hours at the agency site, during the whole semester, 70 to 80 hours. And you keep a journal of things that you do, at least for the first 3 or 4 weeks. And then at the end of the internship period, we expect that the student just provide a little PowerPoint presentation. November 6th, 2012 is one deadline, and another deadline is March 1st, 2013. That's for the National Internship Program. And other deadlines vary from program to program and from agency to agency.
When he came into office, President Obama was determined to make the government more efficient, more effective, more streamlined. This includes the hiring process, and he's taken 3 actions over the past few years to improve the federal government's hiring process. First, he ordered that the government move to a streamlined, resume-based hiring system where managers could select from among all the best qualified candidates. Second, he said that we should be doing a better job of hiring our veterans, and he launched a Veterans Employment Initiative that's had great success. The third prong is making the federal government more competitive with the private sector in hiring students and recent graduates, and that's our Pathways Program initiative. The Pathways program has 3 elements to it. We have an internship program, that's our student program. A recent graduates program is a career development program for those who've graduated within the past 2 years. And our Presidential Management Fellows program, that's our flagship leadership development program for those who have graduate degrees. The internship program is open to students at all levels of their education, starting in high school. We also reach out to community colleges and students in trade schools, vocational schools, 4-year degree programs, advanced degree, professional degree, all levels of education. This program is open to you. We have a brand new recent graduates program. It's open to recent graduates. That means that once you graduate, you have 2 years from then to apply to get in this program. And it's open to a broad range of graduates, vocational schools and trade schools, community colleges, 4-year degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees. We think the Recent Graduates program is a great way to reach out to the next generation of workers, but it also has broad appeal. For mothers who take time off from the workplace to raise a family and go back and complete their education, this program's open to you. For veterans who come back from serving overseas and take advantage of the new GI Bill, this program's for you. This program is for you. So the way that we developed these programs was we've studied the issue of students and recent graduates' ability to get into the government for over a year. And we reached out to a broad range of stakeholders, agencies, federal employee unions, students themselves, academic institutions, good government groups. And what we took from all of that analysis was that students and recent graduates lacked the experience needed to compete with the rest of the nation in seeking a federal job. So that's where these Pathways programs came from. We needed to set up these new programs where students would compete against other students, recent graduates would compete against other recent graduates, and the federal government would be able to bring these folks into these jobs even though they didn't have the kind of experience that other people in the workforce had obtained already. Where we are in the process right now is our regulations to implement these programs have gone final. That means there is now a framework in place for agencies to set up their own Pathways programs. Now that doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take them about 60 days to get going. So starting around the middle of July, you should begin to see some Pathways opportunities on usajobs.gov. There may not be a whole lot at first as the agencies get their programs running, but if you keep looking, starting in the middle of July through the end of the summer, then maybe the fall interviewing season, that's when we think we'll really be hitting our stride. And then at that point, you're going to get information about what jobs are available and what you need to do to apply. The government gets a great benefit from these programs because it allows us to be more competitive with this segment of society. The government has not done a good job historically with recruiting, hiring, and retaining students and recent graduates. We need to tap into that resource, that very valuable pool of talent that will come in and help us address the skills gaps that we're facing in the government. We need to have people with the cutting-edge talent that comes from having completed a recent education to deal with the complex problems that our country faces in the 21st century.